In this video, I'm going to talk about things that are really hard today, and that revolves all around coding depression. It's a thing that if you think it isn't truly real, then please click off this video, because then you're one of the few that don't experience it. And if you are one of the ones that experience it, then seriously, stay to the end to hear the message that I have for you, because I also have some actionable items that can help you along the way that have helped not only me, but my students. And if you want more content like this in the future, hit this, actually, you know what, screw that. Don't take that off the page. I actually don't want to be promoting in this video. I want to promote mental health issues and actually you doing something about it. Whether it's you're listening to me, I'll recommend you not listen to me and to go talk to a mental health professional, because this is a serious subject that is really hard to talk about, especially from person to person. It's easy to listen to it, and so I encourage you to listen today, but if you need help, truly get some. If you feel coding depression ever in your life and you resonate with this message all too well today, then please feel free to leave a comment to let other people know that they're not alone in this. Now, before we get started today, there's a couple things I want to cover. First and foremost, if you hear me say coding depression or developer depression, I'm going to mean the same thing. I also want to cover what is depression right now. It is a mental health disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood or loss of interest in activities causing significant impairment in a daily life. Possible causes include a combination of biological, psychological, and social sources of distress. Increasingly, research suggests these factors may cause changes in the brain function, including altered activity to certain neural circuits in the brain. Question still remains though, what is developer depression, or coding depression for that matter? It is depression that developers are prone to more than the average person. It is due to the time spent in their thoughts, the hours in front of the computer without any human interaction, the imposter syndrome that always tells them your code isn't good enough, the comparison to other developers in the community, and lastly, the fact that no one is willing to talk about it. Ultimately, this ends up affecting their life. Now, one of the things I'm not going to be suggesting to you today is that anything I recommend will solely fix this. But as you heard in the definition, there's different things that cause and affect it. So let's try to fix a couple of the ones we can actually have some cause and effect on. One of the things that really slows me down sometimes, that I have to be very careful of, is when I actually don't go outside enough, or when I stay inside way too long. And before you know it, I'm like, oh, it's nighttime again? I haven't seen the sun all day. And that's the first tip for you with coding depression, is to make sure you're getting enough sunlight, enough vitamin D, because the majority of all Americans are deficient in vitamin D. And I say Americans here just because I'm an American, and trust me, if I go through the world statistics, I bet it's a bit worse. Let me tell you why vitamin D is important. First and foremost, bone health, the immune system, and also your muscle health. Some of the things that can cause and have problems with it when you don't get enough are certain types of cancer, diabetes, and mental health issues. Lo and behold, depression is a good indicator. Something else that sunlight will do for you that can really help out is set your circadian rhythm. It's basically your body's internal clock so that you know when to wake up, you know when to feel tired, and it allows you to be a normal functioning human. Without your circadian rhythm, you can find yourself staying up way too late, sleeping in way too long, and ultimately living a life in the shadows, which is part of the problem of why I had to find myself making sure I get time to go outside. Otherwise, this can be a really good indicator to point right to that for me. It's like, no, go outside, stand there for 15 minutes, and get some damn sun. Now with this next one, I want to note that it doesn't always have to be coding depression you get into. It can sometimes be just a programming funk. They're very closely related sometimes. They're not the same, but they're related. And so this is one of the ones that will hinder me in the programming funk area because of sleep. Not getting enough sleep for my body. I think we've all been there where we've stayed up way too late and then we wake up way too early for work and we got 3 or 4 hours of sleep. It messes up not only that entire day, but it might mess up the next couple days, which has happened to me before. So what can we do about that? First off, stop using the computer 1 hour before you go to bed. Second is using some blue light glasses. You can see this because it's reflecting the blue lights right now. I love using these late at night because they will make sure my body doesn't think I need to stay awake, because it reflects the blue light, which is coming out of all of your devices, and that is going to stimulate your mind to keep you up at night. Third thing, take some melatonin, because melatonin is natural in your body and you're just basically going to force the production. Now, with this one, I've learned that you might wake up a little tired because when you're out of melatonin, I'm not going to actually go into how it all works, but you have more melatonin left over in your system, which will make you a little tired in the morning. Won't hurt you the rest of the day, it's just gonna feel a bit tough getting up in the morning. And last but not least, exercise regularly throughout the week, especially if you do it in the morning or mid-afternoon. Going to sleep at night is generally easier, which leads me right into my next point. Activity, physical activity to be specific. Now, this isn't one where I have a direct correlation to codeine depression, for example, but this is something that I preach to everyone, that you should be getting your heart rate above 100 beats per minute for 30 minutes, 3 times a week. When you get this exercise, and man, look at that color on the screen right now. I feel like I have changed a whole hue because the sun is setting, but this looks pretty epic to me. Let's continue on. Exercise will help you with some neural circuits that only fire when you exercise. So it's important to help you clear your head by exercising. And if you've ever felt that pent up energy that just doesn't go away, this could help you. I mean, you can see it in your dog all the time, right? When it's snowing and blizzarding outside and you don't take them outside for 3 days, what happens? They get a bit stir crazy. Probably so do you, but point being here, exercise could really help this out. And last but not least, it'll help you with sleep, just like we were talking about a minute ago. Okay, you're gonna see the color red gone across my face now because the sun is finally gone and we're finally controlled by the lights again. So let's continue on with the video. This next section is all about confidence. And confidence has a bigger impact on codeine depression than you might know. And that's because confidence revolves all around the imposter syndrome. And I know we all feel it to an extent. This is where the whirlwind can get spun out of control very quickly. Because imposter syndrome has a huge hold on everyone, to certain degrees and varying levels, it can really be a catalyst that gets you into codeine depression and really will affect you poorly in your performance of learning, performance of your job, performance in day-to-day tasks, and it has the hugest impact. So now when I talk about this one, I want to give you something that I actually talked about in a previous video for Simple Programmer, and it's the fake it till you make it versus act as if is 2 ways to fix it. I know for some people that the fake it till you make it, I myself lived by that model for a while, was a huge thing that helped me get through tough times and to get me through when especially I was learning things. But it was very hard to follow when there were people around. One of the things I learned that there was a better way, it's called the act as if. You act as if this ideal image of yourself or ideal image of what you want to be. Prime example, let's say you're in an interview and you get asked a really tough question. You want to act as if you're the senior developer in the room. You want to act as if you're the smartest person in the room. You want to act as if the best version of yourself. You want to act as if this ideal you hold very high and near and dear. Because they're going to act differently than you would where you're at currently. They're going to act at a higher standard. They're going to act bigger and better. And this can help you with confidence issues throughout a multitude of ways. And I want you to try it the next time you're getting down based off your confidence, based off something shutting you down, or based off you not feeling like you're good enough. Or that, you know what, damn it, I can do it. If I act as if I'm the senior dev in the room, I can do this. There is no one to stop me. As long as I act as if I'm that person, I am. This next thing that manifests itself into codeine depression is comparison. Now, I've done a video about mistakes I've made in my career. Go check it out here. It's actually really good. And in that video, I talk about comparison and where I messed up earlier in my career. And I think that this is absolutely key, where a ton of people fail in their career all the time is they use comparison. And comparison can be another good, quick catalyst that gets to depression. And why is that? Well, we compare ourselves against other people. We compare ourselves to others, whether it's pay, whether it's skill, whether it's respect. Comparison is the death of all things good, because you're never going to be good enough. It's a very slippery slope, because you get to that next level and now you're compared against them. You surpass them and now you're compared against them, and it's just, you're never good enough. There's always one more person. There's always one more level. There's always something more to hold you back. And when you start being held back and you let it hold you back and you let this comparison seriously be the death of all things good, this is where codeine depression will onset. Because it's going to mess with your mind, because your thoughts are going to become much darker about how you're not as good as them, you're not as well respected as them, and these things will really start to affect you. Now, I expand on this idea of what to do with it a little bit more in the other video. Now in this next one, it's really a question for you. Do you ever find yourself reminiscing in memories of past or good times, or do you think in the memories the grass is a bit greener than it is today? Well, I'll tell you this, it's always gonna feel greener on the other side, but that's not always the case. This is one where I find myself failing every now and then that really can get me down, is when I actually start thinking of old memories of good times. That's not to say good times aren't now as well, but there's old memories that I hold near and dear that when I find myself reminiscing, it can be something, really another catalyst that can get me down. And that's one where you have to be careful about that, because spending time and dwelling on the past can be great and all, but at the same time, it can really spin you down very quickly. Prime example of dealing with students in the past that actually have been bullied, that when they're getting bullied on their code reviews or getting bullied on their documentation. And bullied is such a lightly used term there, I'm trying to say it, in the sense of it reminded them of being bullied. It's not that they actually were in their code reviews, but they were reminded of it, and that triggers the reminiscing. Now, it's not that it triggered it, it's the problem. It's the fact that they let the reminiscing continue the rest of the day, which will entail potentially bringing them back tomorrow in a programming funk. So what do I recommend for this one, and what's a good cure for this one? Good cure for this is finding some engaging activities. You know, some sports, some parties, some events, maybe even some conferences and meetups in your area. Even then, don't forget about the solo activities, because you can still work on art or a hobby or open source projects to actually be active, to keep your mind constantly working so that you're not sitting there and reminiscing. One of the quickest ways I've seen that cure coding depression for people is being a part of a community. And it's generally a thriving community that has events, that has projects, that has superlatives, that has a networking aspect to it, to where you get that face-to-face interaction. Because staring at someone smiling back at you, it's really hard to feel coding depression when you're in a group like that. Now, that's not to say that you can't still be depressed and that depression isn't going to outlast one event. It more than likely will. But something to take a step in the right direction would be to go join a community. Can you hear me in there? I think this last one is probably the most important one, and that is because it is to find a mentor. Find someone who has been to where you've been and feels the pain you have felt, and ultimately is where you want to be, because a mentor can help you succeed in all the areas you're struggling. And I've had some of the absolute best coaches and mentors, and they were lifesavers because they'd been exactly where I'd been before. They'd felt the pain I had felt. They'd felt the emotions I'd felt, and nothing felt better than someone I could connect with that not only had been there, but had gotten through it and found a way through it and was able to help me get through it. So I encourage you, out of all 8 of these tips, find one for you to try today. Find one that you like. Stick to it and try it, because this doesn't go away. This feeling is here. This feeling, as developers, it's gonna happen. It's how you deal with it as best as you can is what's important. I truly hope you liked today's video and content and that you got something from it. And I want to make clear, I am not saying depression is going to be fixable by this video by any means. Truthfully, you probably need to talk to a medical health professional, and I encourage that. But the one thing I do hope from today is that you get something out of it. You get something more you can try or be accountable to or pay more attention to that can help you as a developer. Because we all struggle with these problems. Imposter syndrome, coding depression, these types of issues will show up because you spend a world by yourself in a computer half the time. Yeah, there might be people around you, but truthfully, it's you, the code, and the computer that are thinking through most things throughout the day. And so that can have negative effects sometimes that we don't want. And I'm hoping one of these today will help you get through that. Now, I normally go into the whole like, subscribe thing, but I don't care about that in this video. What I care about is you literally try one of these actions. That is my call to action for you today. Try one of these. Let me know in the comments if it helps. Let me know in the comments what you've tried. Truth be told, that's all I really want to know. I don't really care about any other things I have going on from that perspective. I just care about, did this help you in some way? Until next time, I'll see you guys again soon.